You're listening to the Pelicans Post Game Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell him that. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican, ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. You stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's something, don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumping where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the refs just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. Right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican forever.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Coach, let's just start with just Derek Queen and just the job that he's been able to do and another impressive triple-double tonight.
Yeah, the group was fantastic. You know, it was Queen and others, but I thought Queen was fantastic. You know, great energy, big-time performance on the glass. You know, shared the ball, moved the ball, had a massive impact out there. Especially to do it here, you know, in front of his hometown was really special. So proud of him, but the group in general, you know, brought it, especially second half, great intensity there and way to close.
I wanted to talk to you about the second half. Let's start in that third quarter. What do you think the key was to kind of opening that lead up from the 10-point lead at halftime?
I thought there was more value on every possession. We talked about it. In the first half, there was not that. Just turning it over left and right, not valuing possessions, not getting to our spots, sloppy execution there. I thought we flipped it there in the second half, really towards the end of the second quarter. That group really got us off to or closed that quarter in a much stronger way, got to the rim. C was a big part of that. And then I thought the rookies stepped up to start that second half. You know, they got out. Fears was great. Queen was great. And then Murph and Z did their thing. You know, they're special, and they did that. And Bryce did his job. You know, so all five guys contributed. Really proud of the group tonight.
I want to talk about Murph and Z, just the job that the two of them were able to do. It's one of their highest combined scoring games of all time. Both of them really working. What does it do with this offense when both of those guys have an all-night like that?
Well, it's a tough cover. You know, obviously Murph and Z are playing at a high level, you know, and they trust each other. We had a little two-man game going, and, you know, they're taking on more leadership, more responsibility there. And I trust them. We trust them to make the right play. Z made, big plays down the stretch and got to the rim and kicked out. I think when I watch this film, it's going to be a lot of sharing the basketball, moving it, that we trusted each other a little bit more in at least the last three quarters. But Murph and Z were fantastic.
What did you think of Eves behind the back down there to Z?
I'll check with our coaches, see if we're working on that. I didn't know we had that in our game, So I'm happy for Eve. He's had massive impact, but great team win.
Got it. Appreciate it, JP.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned in to Pelican Post Game Report. Much love to the fan. The Pelicans get the dub. Against a team like the Wizards, man, we struggled with so many other teams, but the Pelicans were able to take care of business tonight against this squad. And it was good, man. It was good to see our squad finally collect on a win and make something pop, man. And that's a good thing. So anyway, Pelicans take care of business. They blast the Wizards 128-107. Big Q DC, we in the thing. Shout out to you guys. Feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We up in this thing. DC, how you doing tonight, brother?
Oh, pretty good, man. Feels a lot better talking about the Pels after they won. Although we know we ain't out the woods because this could be very short-lived. We'll be right back here Sunday playing an actual competitive opponent, But nonetheless, like what I saw tonight from the Pels, man, you had four guys that had tremendous performances. and it's just nice to see them all kind of able to go off in one game. And Trey, Zion, Fears, and Queen, who's that's basically the backbone of your team right now, or what you would consider the core, until moves are made in the offseason, because the Pels have dropped a report and said that they're not moving anybody before the February deadline. So looking at this game tonight, man, this is pretty much what I expected. Didn't expect them to go and beat. Didn't expect them to go and beat the Washington Wizards in such a dominant fashion. Trey Young didn't suit up, so kind of figured that. They're probably still trying to tank. They got a lot of young talent, but no real stars over there. So we went in there and we did what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, it was one of them wins where, it's letting off a little steam, man, against an inferior opponent, man, as we smacked them down. And this is the first win in a very long time for this Pelicans team. Remember, the last time they got a win was when we was on the 5-game winning streak. Then they went on a 9-game losing streak. So streak to streak. We'll see if we can get back building, man, stopping the bleeding tonight. Pelicans and get their 9th win. They're now 9-31, 3-14 at home. We'll preview the Orlando matchup, but first let's do a little stat packing right quick. We look at what the Pels did tonight. 51 of 95 for 54% shooting from the field for the Pelicans tonight. 11 of 34 for 32% from downtown. Didn't shoot all that well from the free throw line. They were 15 to 24 for 63%. Got to get those numbers up. It'll be the bigger evisceration, man, if they were hitting on that foul line, but still in all. The Wizards 37 of 87, 43%, 11 of 35 for 31%. They were 22 of 33, 67% themselves. The Pelicans collected 51 rebounds tonight versus 40 rebounds by the Wizards. They even assisted the ball pretty well. 30 for 24. A lot of that was DQ getting his passing on. They stole the ball in double digits, 12 to the Wizards 10. The block game was Wizards 8-4. The turnovers were still present. 19 turnovers by both squads. Pelicans conceded 19 versus the Wizards giving up 25. Fast break game, Wizards 15-8. Pelicans destroyed the Wizards in the paint 68-46, which was huge. Of course, they had the largest lead of the game was 26 points, and it was one of those situations where the Pelicans dominated this team from start to finish. It wasn't even a situation where the Wizards felt like the Wizards threatened at anything in this game. And of course, we go to the individual side of it is the fact that we see the 35 points by Trey Murphy, 13 on 13 completions off of 24 attempts by Trey. Another 7 3-point effort, 7 made 3-pointers, 7 of 16. He had 8 rebounds to go along with those 4 assists and 4 steals by Trey Murphy. Continue to show what he can do. Zion Williamson in 29 minutes had 31 points. He was 12 of 14 from the field, struggled from the foul line, 7 of 13. 4 boards, 3 assists by him tonight. And it was good by two big stars there. Jeremiah Fears got it going tonight too. In 32 minutes, 21 points, 9 of 15 from the field. He had a couple of 3-pointers. He had 5 rebounds, 6 assists. He did have 6 turnovers, but also had 3 steals to go along with it. DQ had a triple-double night back home, 14 points in 35 minutes, 7 of 13 from the field, 16 boards, 12 assists for him to go along with 2 blocks as well. So he was really special. He also had 5 turnovers, but didn't matter. Pels held it down. And those guys were just big. Bryce McGowan's 29 minutes, 6 points in 29 minutes for Bryce McGowan. His numbers dropped a bit in his second start. And then off the bench, the Pelicans' top scorer was Peavy with 9 points in 28 minutes. He suffered an injury. Jordan Hawkins in 20 minutes had 7 points on mostly, hitting a couple of shots, 2 of 15, 3 for 3 from the foul line, 4 rebounds. Eves Messi, in 13 minutes, he got 3 points and 9 rebounds for him today. Jordan Poole had a 12 minutes. Well, Poole played 12 minutes, but he was 0 for 2 tonight, and no points there. We know what that was about. So outside of that, man, Carlo got 5 minutes in there, but the overall effect was that the Pelicans were able to dispatch an inferior foe, and the Wizards, who have yet to activate. We know Trey will get an opportunity. Ice Trey will get an opportunity with the Wizards. He wasn't active for this matchup, but the Pelicans were, and they took care of business in a major capacity against an inferior opponent. DC, go ahead and finish your breakdown, man. Ain't much to talk about on this one, man. Pelicans handle that business and let a lot of frustration go on this
Well,
team.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of things to talk about, Q, but obviously we don't want to get too positive because it's just one game. But the Pels definitely did their thing tonight. And I'm going to cover it just in a second, but give me one moment.
So that's the bottom line for me, man. Like I'm looking at it, bro, and like I see Trey Murphy balled. Let's just put it to you like that. I like the way he played, but Derek Queen had it all going. He kept these guys involved in it with his passing. The man did a triple double, and just showing you his overall game, his vision, the big fella playing like a veteran, man. This guy is like a rookie, but a soul of an old veteran there, man. He's just gotten there and just contributed so much. 14, 16, 12 was his
Right.
line, plus 18. He was the guy that kind of had it situated. You can see Trey Murphy feeding off of him. You can even Zion Williamson doing his thing. The Rooks continue to really help us in this game develop. And I think, if anything, that's a major positive that's going on with the Pelicans is the fact that these young players is getting so many reps and playing so many games, man, for the Pelicans in this first season, kind of just really amping up their development, man. And we're gonna need all that moving forward. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. I thought Derek Queen was special, man. This was one of my favorite games from him. He's had some awesome numbers and performances before, but I thought tonight it is against the Wizards, and it's almost like I look at the Wizards like if you was playing 2K, it's like playing it on rookie mode, you know what I'm saying? Or the mode right above rookie. So you expect them to do some things, but I saw him and Jeremiah Fairs kind of had a little thing going on. Fairs played awesome too, get to him. But Queen, man, the rebounds and just the assists and the way he commanded the game, man, and just how under control everything looked. And I think the Pels kind of hit something that they may do going into the future until some of these guys come back as far as our lineups. But they had a lineup out there where DQ and Fears were kind of like out there a lot of times with Trey. And you had him not so much with Zion, right? Which I think DQ and Zion can play together, but ultimately for them to really have bulk of their minutes together, we still need more shooting. It ain't enough to just have Trey there and you got Jordan Poole who ain't giving you nothing. So that don't really work. But Zion had, a lot of his minutes with Jordan Poole, who still gave you nothing, but just like a lot of defensive players around him, and he's just attacking. And Zion was special tonight as well. But DQ having a triple double, man, for what is this, second time I think this year as a rookie? Like
Yeah, I think it's like twice.
That's again, man. That's not normal, man. This shit don't happen. Got a lot of rookies come in and out the league, and they don't get triple doubles their rookie year, let alone two, let alone it being a 15 rebound game, like 12 assists. Like, dude is he's a problem, man. And when he finally gets his strength together, I think we gotta help improve the roster to cover up some of his defensive liabilities. And I don't think he's a horrible defender, but he's just not he's not fast. He's a little slow-footed. And we're going to have to do our due diligence to find the type of guys to play with him. But phenomenal performance, man. And that young brother right there you just had on the screen, Fears, man, he showed me something tonight, Q. This is how you want Fears to play. The way he played tonight, like, he's not going to be a floor general. That's not what he is. Scoring point guard, right? Jamal Murray, we talked about it. I know a lot of people got that comp, and you heard Kyrie and just all these people in the different templates. That's the type of guard he is. When he's aggressive and he attacks, but doesn't have tunnel vision, he makes the right plays. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be Trae Young, but just make the right passes, man. Get some of them easy assists, make it easy on the team, and attack downhill and do your thing. When you get the ball and it's your time to score. And he did that tonight, man. I think he should circle this game and go back to it, you know, as he goes through his ups and downs of his rookie year. And they should be drilling this game into him. This is how you want him to play, man. I thought this was the best game of his young career for Fairs, man. Not just because, you know, statistically, and it's the Wizards, you know, we know what it is with their team, what's the Spider-Man little gif where they both point at each other because we both in the same boat, right? But it was just the way he went about playing. You know, I know it probably was a little easier tonight, but if he can just remember, man, to not try to do too much, let the game come to him, make the simple plays, and then unleash that awesome ability that he has, man, to be able to attack downhill, hit that mid range. He's a good 3-point shooter. I mean, I think he's going to be a very good 3-point shooter in the future. But as of now, I mean, you give him wide open ones, he's going to knock them down. So just make the game simple, man. And I don't think it'll be crazy to see just a normal night for Fairs be like 17 points, you know, 4 or 5 assists, anywhere from 3 to 5 rebounds. Like I think he can do that, you know, on a nightly basis. Obviously, as he matures and grows more into what he's supposed to be. But I thought this was probably his best game, man. Then you had Trey Murphy. You heard AD talking about it on the show, man. They were trying to steal his name. Kid to what is it, Trey Johnson? I think that's homeboy name on the other team. I don't think he did nothing tonight. Is he hurt? Did he even play? Oh, man, get him calling his name at all tonight. He was hurt. He didn't do nothing. They were trying to give him a nickname. Trying to give him Trigger Trey nickname, which is crazy. But Trey, man, 35, 8, and 4, plus goddamn 34. You know, Trey picked up right where he left off the last game he played, man, where he had, I think it was 43 or 42. He finally got the memo, man. Trey is taking more shots. Trey took 24 shots tonight. Made 13 of them. I think he could probably do better than that. Trey could do this regularly if he plays this way and is this aggressive, man. You're 6'10". You don't need to do all that dribbling. Like sometimes just raise up and shoot. 7 for 16 from the 3-point line, man. This is what I'm here for as Trey, bro. If Trey play like this the rest of his career, I would have to rescind my statements on saying he won't ever be able to be a superstar. Obviously, he ain't nowhere near that right now. But I'm saying if he can consistently play like this, and I think it's as simple as him just taking more shots. But I don't know if that's his mentality, man, if he can keep this up. But if he can, I think we're gonna be just fine in the future. Still got a lot of work to do with this roster. But Trey Murphy can definitely replicate some of these performances, man. I mean, a lot of his points coming from the 3-point line, and then you got another chunk of them that's going to come just on him being able to get to the rim and dunk. Catching alleys, man. They had a fire alley, kind of shocked the hell out of me. That Pierce threw him like one of them Lonzo Ball alleys. Like, look at this shit. You know, Queen probably threw him a couple of alleys, man. He blew past somebody else and got an easy dunk, man. So Trey putting it together, man. You ain't got to be the dude who dribble and break down everybody and hit all these mid-ranges. He ain't got to do that, bro. And I think he getting it, man. And, you know, last guy I want to talk about before we go ahead and move on is Zion, man. Zion had a phenomenal performance tonight as well, which is insane. Zion took one more shot than Derek Queen and Derek Queen had 14 points. And I just was telling you how good his game was. But Zion had 31 points. Only had 4 rebounds, but you can see Zion out there doing a lot of dirty work for us, boxing people out and doing his best version of Kevon Looney, but not getting the rebound. And the few rebounds got away from him, man. The guys poking the ball out of his hands. He probably would have had 6 or 7. But he was getting downhill, man. They didn't have an answer for him. Nobody on their roster that can really stop Zion. And he went out there handling his business, man. Shaw worked for him tonight. He did a lot of what he did in the first half. We kind of started off solid, and they were staying in the game, making pushes. And I think that second quarter, him and Trey just exploded, and kind of put this game out of reach until we had a bad lineup in the third, man. That Borrego threw out there, and they kind of got back in the game. I think we had got up to a 21-point lead. But nonetheless, Z had a phenomenal night. It would have been a lot more points because he missed half his free throws. He had I don't know if he hit all his and ones though. But he had a lot of times where he got fouled and he made the damn shot. But he was 6 for what was he from the free throw line? 6 for 12 or 7 for 13. Not horrible, but shit, you need to do a lot better than that, man. I need you to be at least around 77, almost 80%. So knock down about 3-4 more of those, you know what I'm saying? But good night for everybody, man. Can't get too high on this, obviously, because it is the Washington Wizards. But I think this is a good confidence builder. They can look at a lot of things that they did, being able to keep the game simple and, pretty much going in there. And I think having the confidence that they're supposed to beat a team like this. But this is the mentality you should have every night, man. And show up and do the little things. And I think that should be the focus of the Pels, because if they do want to win games, which I think consistently winning is a tough thing for them, that's what they're going to have to do anyway. So just focus on playing the right way and see what happens. So,
Yep, that's basically what they got to do, man. Because they got the win. They stopped the 9-game losing streak. Zion, Trey, DQ, Fears. They played really well to beat this team. So the next thing we got another team coming up. Is the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic is the next team that we face off against, family. This is not going to be an easier game as we set up the preview side of things. It's not going to be easy, no matter how you look at this one, man. The Pelicans currently dealing with this team that's a 7-game losing streak right now to the Orlando Magic. I had to look it up. I'm like, man, how many times have we lost? They're currently on a 7-game losing streak to the Magic. And this matchup is supposed to be on January the 11th. So that's 1-1-1 for my number people out there. That's a Sunday matchup. Tip-off time is 3 p.m. And we traveling out there with this team. They're pretty good. The Magic are 21-18, 12-6 at home. Pelicans 3-14 on the road, 9-31 overall. Orlando is second in the Southeast division, behind the Miami, who's 20-17. The Orlando Magic are currently a team. They lost tonight to the Philadelphia Sixers, 103-98. Over the last 5 contests, they are 2-3. The Pelicans are 1-4, as you know. And the Pelicans should get back some people. They should get back some people. Herb Jones, Sadiq Bey, Jose Alvarado are all mentioned to be coming back for the 11th. So we should get Herb and Sadiq and Alvarado back. Obviously, they felt like they didn't need those guys to take care of business against Washington. Just to let you guys know, and of course, a little update on DeJounte Murray. His estimated time frame has been pushed out to February the 20th, if I haven't told you guys, as he's trying to come back.
What happened to January 13th?
February the 20th. That's the new estimated timeline
I told
for
you,
him. Now,
about a month of that shit.
Right. So as you can look at Orlando, man, is a team, like I said, we've struggled with this team, beating this team, and the Pels. Hopefully, we can have all those names I mentioned back, because we're going to need those guys as we look forward to try to take care of some business on the road. You can look at the statistics right now on screen showing that the Magic 116.6 is what they do, points per game. That's 15 in NBA. They give up 115.2, which is 13th. You see the field goal percentage right now, almost 47%, which is 17th in the NBA. The 3 points made, the 11.2, which is 27th. The Pelicans are 10.7, which is 28th. So you can see that situation right there. The Pels kind of similar. They uh, they attempt more free throws than any other team in the NBA, 28.3. Their percentage is 78%, which is 17th in the NBA. Pelicans are right around that. Pelicans free throw attempts are ninth, but as you can see, they complete about 78%, which is middle of the pack. Rebounding, the Magic are pretty good. They're 12th in the NBA in terms of their
Mhm.
rebound, 13 in terms of their assists. The turnovers right there, you can see, is fifth in the NBA. The Pelicans is 15th. We're dealing with that. The steal game is 15th for the Magic. Pelicans are eighth. You can see the block per game, 10th for the Magic. Pelicans are 24th. So the Pelicans do have some positive stuff, and we have to kind of continue to build on um, just getting back to winning. Now, also, um, both Wagners are injured. So they one Wagner has a ankle issue. Mo has a knee issue. De Silva, who's another one of their players, he is also out with a back issue, and Jalen Suggs is dealing with a knee. All of those guys, all of those guys are estimated to return in time for the Pelicans. Now we don't know if so yeah, they got them all estimated. Suggs and
Go
both the
figure.
Wagners coming back for the Pelicans as well as the Silva and Castle, their backup center, is also Castleton is also predicted to be arriving in time for that Pelicans game. So um, we'll see how it all goes, man. But like I said, let me see if I can pull up their situation so family members can get familiar with who's the top scorer. They're showing Franz Wagner as the top guy for them, 23 points a game. Bancaro averages about 21 a game. He'll be available for the Pels. 8.6 rebounds for him. Desmond Bain is also there. Remember, Desmond Bain is there. He's averaging almost 19 points a contest with almost five rebounds and five assists from him. Anthony Black, the big guard, is playing and he averaging 29 minutes a game, 15 points a game for him, and he dishing out about four assists. So they got a very interesting lineup that we have to contend with. Here's the depth chart. I'll get it on a screen for you guys. Like I just mentioned, the Suggs and Wagner's supposed to both return. We know Bain is there. He's playing well. Bancaro, Paulo is always playing well. And Wendell Carter Jr. has established himself in the starting lineup. So they still have Jonathan Isaac, who is a versatile big, Tyus Jones, Anthony Black, Jace Richardson, and some interesting players. So DC, we've lost 7 games in a row to this team, bro. Um, do we have enough to beat the Magic back and get a second win on the year? What we gonna do?
I think the Magic, at least right now, man, they seem to be like in a little funk. They're kind of up and down, below the expectations that I think they've set for themselves. But they're not in a horrible position. They're first in their division. They're 21-18, right? So you got to respect that. It's almost like a different version of the Atlanta Hawks. I think there's two teams that are kind of like in the same tier. If I'm going to place them there, but they've been having problems with Paulo, man. Like he's just not um, playing his best version of what he does, man. I mean, he's only 45% on the year. He's giving you 21 points, but it's been a little bit of a struggle over there. And you got Franz Wagner, obviously, who's still Franz Wagner, but injury issues, like you said, and Desmond Bain, they got him and spent all of those picks trying to get a 3-point shooter, and he's all right. Desmond Bain shooting 34% on the year, so they still kind of having that same issue with 3-point shots, and I think that's music to our ears. But we're the Pelicans, so are we going to play defense, or are we going to let somebody like Tristan De La Silva, just like what's the kid who's the first round pick last for the Hawks? I don't remember his name. The French boy.
Zachary Reacher.
Reacher, yeah. He is seven 3-pointers, man. That dude don't shoot like that. He hit 7 on us. Tristan De La Silva actually could shoot a little bit. He was like an 8 pick or something. So we let him come out there and drop 25 to 30 points. It's a wrap. Wendell Carter Jr. is a decent shooter. As a big, he shooting 36%. We gonna let Wendell Carter Jr. hit 5 3-pointers? I think it really comes down to that, man. Because as far as the styles, I think we're an even team. They obviously are better. They play better defense. They kind of are a gritty team to me. They're not going to beat you with a lot of finesse, and they got a lot of length all around the board. Even Anthony Black's big guard, but again, not a shooter. Jalen Suggs, he can hit some shots, but this is about as good of a beatable team I think we'll get, because they're not playing their best, and I ain't saying that we are, but I think you could get them. You got guys who I like Jonathan Isaac, man. This dude only playing 10 minutes. Like, a lot of people are below their expectations. You got Tyrus Jones on his team. Thought that was a great, pickup for them. Is he hurt? Because he ain't getting no minutes. You know what I'm saying? He ain't really doing much with his minutes. He get about 16 minutes, giving you 3 points and 3 assists. This Tyrus Jones, So I think we can get a dub here, man. But in order for us to get the dub, I can't act like it's in the bag. The Pels would have to show up and have the confidence that they had this game. If they can do that, and look, 91 points in the game, man, I know Philly is solid and they got a lot of little juice over there, but Philly don't come off to me as no major defensive team. Am I wrong? They got Orlando, man, they went for the Desmond Bain signing, and I think it was just ain't really working out for him. Jace, I thought Jace would have been a lot better too. That rookie you just put up there, like what I saw on film with him. But he's a guard, so maybe it'd take a little time. Thought he'd be better shooting and giving him some more scoring punch, but it just ain't that, man. It just ain't that. So Orlando's a good team, but I actually thought they would be better. I thought they were building to something, kind of maybe take. Oh, you remember him, Jamal Cain? He was on the team last year. Thought they were actually building to something to be a little better than they are, but nonetheless, this is an actual team that gets wins. They have a winning mentality. They've been in the playoffs, so they know how to win. So we can't go in there lollygagging with the bullshit that we do from time to time with this losing mentality and think we're going to beat this team. They could be having a horrible night, and we'll get out-coached, and they'll still find a way to scrap out a win. But I think right now, if we have any shot of beating the Magic, it would be right now.
Yeah, Steph asks about do we think that if the Pelicans had a winning record, that Queen could he win the Rookie of the Year honor?
No.
I mean,
let's look up Cooper Flag before I just flat out say no, because Cooper Flag is the golden boy to me, and they kind of want to make him a figurehead in the league. So I think it's his award to lose. He would have to fall off a cliff for one. Like, it's really that simple. Derek Queen would have to take over and be a number 3 option on this team, and we actually get into playing or something like that. Possibly happen. What you say, Q?
yeah, that's the thing, man. It just seems like it might. He would be an interesting option, but yeah, I would have to go with Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 19 on the season, bro.
Yeah, he balling, man. I mean,
he didn't have games with 10 points, 12 points. He's a rookie, you expect that, but Shit,
Yeah,
he
but
got more 20-point games, 20-plus point games than Derek Queen for sure.
right, that's what I'm saying. From a visual standpoint and what he's doing with them, man, I would have to probably go with him. He averaging 19, 6, and 4 on 48% shooting. It's not dynamic, but he's a factor
I mean,
for what
that
Dallas is
ain't,
doing, man.
bro.
So, yeah, I would have to probably end up going with Cooper.
LeBron is one of the best players to ever play the game, bro, and that's pretty much like what his stats were for his rookie year. You know what I'm saying? So, uh,
Yeah,
that's pretty
almost
outstanding for
30
a
35
rookie,
minutes.
man. That's
Yeah,
outstanding
he
for a
doing
rookie. So I mean, we knew what it was, Coop. But
I mean,
I like Derek
it's
Queen, and
not
I'm glad I worked out. But Cooper Flag, coming out for everything I've seen, things can change as players grow. But he's the best player out of that draft class, man.
and that's saying a lot, man, because they have some phenomenal rookies that's in this class, man. Not just for our great class of rookies, but they got a lot of good, like Con Canoople, man. That's another dude
Right.
that's really doing some stuff. He averaging
Yeah,
19
what's
points
it?
a game,
Right.
5 rebounds.
And Derek Queen, like probably
He's
fourth.
doing good.
What about
Yeah, he is.
your boy
VJ
from
Edgecombe.
VJ Edgecombe? Like, man, these
Yeah, he
dudes.
over 16 something a game, man, and 35 something odd minutes.
I ain't
Edgecombe is
saying it's
doing
a
it.
96 draft, but this is probably the closest thing I think we've seen
Man,
to it since something like that, at least from how they're performing their rookie years, right? You don't usually have like three rookies average at 19 points. That's like unheard of.
ridiculous, man. But that's what we got this year. I
Yeah,
mean,
man,
we
it's
got
tough
these
rookie
guys
class.
really stepping up, man. Well, they ain't
And
19. Edgecombe got
everybody
16
talking about
plus.
next year. Next year gonna be better, Q.
I doubt it, man.
What
I
think
doubt
you
this.
said? You got them, and then you got Queen and Fears. You throw in there with them three, and then there's probably
And
a few
they're in
others
the
I'm
class,
missing that are playing like really good, bro. That's five.
right? They're in a mention. I don't think they. I mean,
They're
not
like they're the top
mention.
five. That's top five right there. It's Knipple, Queen, Fears, Cooper Flag, and VJ Edgecombe. That's the guy.
Right. Then you won't. Then there's other people you could throw in there, like your boy from the Grizzlies, Colbert. Yeah,
Yeah, I
he
forgot
he
about him. Yeah, you can put him right up there
lost
side by
something last
side,
year from Grizzlies.
side by
And he's
side. Us.
awesome. They talking about getting rid of moving Moran out of there, man. They trying to trade him after the
Well, I saw
Trey Young
something.
move.
I don't know how true it is, but it's saying John Morant don't want to play in Memphis no more. He ain't gonna play another game. I don't know how true that was, but everybody got these hypothetical trades, and they're definitely fielding calls about him. And a lot of people are putting the statistics up how they've been bashing Zion. Would you believe? Since like 2023, Zion has played way more games than John Morant. So Ja is probably one of the least available players in the league the last 2-3 years. So I could see it. I like Ja. I'm not sure it will work here with us because we got Fears and Queen now. But I still think he could turn his career around and be a great player. Maybe you need a fresh start somewhere, especially if you get him out of the West. You put Ja somewhere in the East like they just did Trey Young, man, I think that could be something phenomenal depending on the situation. Like if they could figure out how to play defense, right? What if Cleveland went and traded for Ja and they signed Darius Garland to Memphis? If they could figure out how to play defense, bro, that should probably be really dangerous. So all the luck to him. I don't think we can do anything with that. Although I really would have loved to see a Ja and Zion pairing at one time. I just think the Pelicans, there's no way we can figure that out, hit the trade, and then put the right pieces around those two without probably giving up one of our rookies and then finding a way to mess that up because we're not ready to be contenders right now. So it's a wash for us. Just like we talked about the Trey Young thing, right? Q, if we would have got Trey Young last year, it's actually a blessing in disguise that we didn't get him because we would have still been stuck with David Griffin and Willie Green. Because if we got Trey Young instead of Johnson Murray, they definitely would have won games. and we
Yeah,
wouldn't have, and we wouldn't have had the two rookies.
yeah, yeah. It's funny how it works, man. Because ultimately, Um, the plan was to get rid of David Griffin. You got rid of him. You did get rid of Willie Green. It's just like you're getting rid of these people. It's slow at a time, but we eventually are getting rid of these people over time. But whoever's going to get the team next is going to have something fantastic.
I
I
just
have,
want to know when we're gonna get another physical therapist. That's what I want to know.
well, yeah, that's a
We
part
still
of it.
got too many fucking injuries.
We don't want to forget that. We focused on getting rid of and getting a new coaching staff with an accredited resume coach to come through. But also the health staff is also something that we need to kind of focus on as well. So anyway, DC, what's the call on here? You giving them? Like I said, they lost 7 in a row to the Orlando Magic. They've have our number, man.
I'm
You
feeling,
giving
I'm
them the win
feeling,
on this one or not?
I'm feeling a little gracious, man. I'm gonna give them a win. I think they gonna have some the equivalent of liquid courage, man. When you're going out, loosen up and get your confidence better. They beat the Washington Wizards, so they're gonna have an inflated sense of self. Going to play the Magic, and they're not playing their best brand of basketball right now. So I think we can definitely get them, man. And if
Okay,
James
I'm
Borrego can quit changing stuff too much. Look at what you did tonight. Try to replicate what worked, and all these crazy lineups he keeps switching. We cut that down. I think we could get them, especially if one of the guys come back. Give me Herb, because I think they might just be resting him. I don't think he like re-injured or anything. It's just probably sitting him out cautionary. They knew they could win this game without Herb, and the Atlanta game he was on the back-to-back. So give me Herb back. I think we get a victory. Also deep.
well. The thing is, we are. According to the reports, they're saying we're supposed to get all those guys back. So, meaning Herb, Sadiq, Jose, we're supposed to get all them back except for Murray. So this is
I,
the health
I,
report
I, don't, I don't want them all
out
back at
there.
one time, Q, because
I mean,
that's gonna pose a problem. Borrego, he tries too
if
many
you're
different
going to line
lineups. Right, it's too much, bro. Just give me one of them.
up, thought
I
having,
do not. I
I
do
thought,
not want
hey, Paul,
Herb
listen, I
and
thought
Sadiq to
having
come
too
back at
many.
the same time. He
I,
gonna mess it up some type
DC,
of way. I
I
think.
thought having too many assets was a positive thing versus not having enough. So I didn't consider that as a minus, more of a plus. That you have so many good people that you have to figure out how to put them in
He's
a way
gonna
where you
find a
can have
way. All three of them will come back, and he'll still figure out a way how to play Bryce McGowan. And we wouldn't even need him. And he just put him in the mix or
you know
something.
what?
No, this ain't no
I say this.
sacrifice. He was solid tonight. I'm just saying, like, he does, like, to me, too much sometimes with the lineups, and it don't really need to be that complicated. It's the opposite of Willie Green, man. Like, Willie wouldn't do nothing. Borrego mind is always twisting and turning and trying to figure some shit out. And sometimes, it'd be a little too much. Because, like, this game could have been wrapped up a lot sooner than it was, Q. And it wasn't because players weren't playing good and we didn't have firepower. It was simply because of his lineups. Simple as that.
Well, I'll put it to you like this, bro. Uh, the way I see it is, if the Pelicans get all of their top guys back, like if Jose and because Jose represents, leadership off the bench, a gritty mentality. Sadiq Bey and Herb Jones, I love them two on the court at the same time because of their defense, and that's a big help. Now we do know Orlando is a problem because of their length, their height, and how they play, and they're well coached. And obviously they got our number, but I would say we would need all those guys. We would need all those guys I just mentioned to kind of break that streak. And I would hope that Coach Borrego makes it very present to the players that this team has beaten us 7 times in a row, and we need to rise up and take care of business. Almost similar to what we've seen how we've been dominating whatchamacallit DC, and they said, you know what, enough is enough. They done been knocking upside the head the Chicago Bulls. How we was just, we handled the Chicago Bulls, beating them double digits, and the Bulls said enough is enough. Let's smack these people down to get our mind right. and hope we can bring that mentality against them. If they do that, then it's a win. If those guys are not available, then I would have to say no to that. So it's contingent upon the injury
Okay,
report, in my
okay.
opinion. If all those guys are available, I say the Pelicans should be able to win that game. If not, it's a magic thing.
After hearing you eloquently break it down, Q, I'm okay with two of them coming back. One got to be Jose though. Okay,
You just Jose, you say Jose?
Jose and
Okay.
either Herb off the deep, not all three. If all three come back, I think we might be in trouble. We might just overdo that shit.
Hey man, you know what? DC. I was looking at the guy. I was like, man, damn. You know, I didn't want to admit it because I like Borrego about that. Having too many assets. So I was like, but you could see it. You could see him. But after seeing Willie Green struggle with lineups for so long, it's like when you see somebody that do something halfway decent, you kind of amplify it, and make it larger than what it actually is. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But as we get into these games, we start realizing that Borrego be having suspect lineups similar to Willie had. He just smart enough to kind of fast enough in shifting out of them. Like Willie will just stay them until you're dead. But this guy is actually, So I see some stuff going on here that I'm willing to admit more now because our what we seen from the previous guy the last 4 years and how pathetic he was with these lineups. So um yeah, that's my take on it, man.
Some
Magic,
of
you
it,
beat the Pelicans for a reason, bro. Go ahead.
bro. I mean, I think it's simply the fact that we don't have a consistent force to be able to run the team as a point guard. Like we really don't have that. Jose is a point guard, but he's not, nobody that's gonna be setting people up and getting people calmed down, getting them in the right sets, monitoring the tempo of the game, knowing when to slow down and speed up things. Like we just haven't had a point guard, and I think that's a lot of the problem too. All of those lineups, it's just like we have nobody on court that has the awareness of what everybody should be doing collectively. When guys out there playing, but they're not really thinking the next possessions through. That's why you see some of these shot attempts. You get these bad shot attempts that aren't. If you look at it on paper, it don't look horrible, but when you watch the game, it's like a live ball turnover. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, man, it's just crazy. It's just crazy the way this team plays with whatever the situation is. Like they're not playing situational basketball, and I think sometimes the coaches are telling them, but it's just like the awareness isn't there, and that's the benefit of having a point guard, man. Point guard is supposed to be like quarterback. You're seeing a lot of teams that come from different positions. Maybe DQ will be that guy in the future. They're starting to call him Baby Joker and all that, but he DQ to me. We ain't gonna be calling him Baby Joker here. He's unique in the way he does things, although he does have some similarities. But we kind of need that floor general, man, or just a version of that. Like a lot of people was talking about Jose getting traded to the Knicks, and I think if we were to do something like that, man, we got to get that little guard they got off with their second unit, Kolinik or whatever. I think having somebody like that, although it ain't like he gonna come over here and average 10 assists and then play out fears or nothing, but just having somebody like that to throw out on the court in crucial moments, man. So they just seem like a smart basketball player, and you can kind of get that to rub off on other players. See my man young Kaluminati. He said that's why we traded for Murray. Yeah, we did, man, but that shit is I don't know. I ain't gonna say that boat is sell because I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna look when he come back, but I just don't see him wanting to be here from everything I've seen prior. And I think Murray can definitely do that. But even coming back from a torn ACL and all that, but do he really want to be here? And does he fit the chemistry of this team? Like that, I don't know. I don't know. And when he was here playing, I mean, I didn't really see that happening, but Murray played 30 games, and for the whole 30 games, at least about 10 in the press conference, he was fighting Willie Green, behind the podium talking about him before they finally got him to calm down. So chips may have been stacked against him, and maybe he could do something like that. And whether he can or not, we still need it. Shit, at this point, I'm hoping they go sign Alfred Payton back or something. We just need somebody to get them to be able to facilitate the ball, stick with the mentality of sharing the ball, making the right plays, and just make it high IQ basketball plays and taking intelligent shots, man. If we do that or did that the whole season, we probably have a good 7 or 8 more wins.
So yeah, we got it's definitely some moves that need to be made. But like I said, it's um I wouldn't be surprised if the Pelicans didn't do nothing DC before the trade deadline, like we talked about going into the off season. And the reason why is because once we get to that position and the regular season is over with, if when everything is done, if we do get to the play-in tournament or not, I have no idea. But once the season's finally over, you know that there'll be a point where Joe Dumars will then go into it and see if he can find somebody that can guide this team. And I think then you will start seeing moves based on him. Like I said before, it's hard for a VP and the general manager, which is the fact they don't have an actual general manager. They didn't name one, but it's Troy Weaver, a de facto general manager when the other guy left. But the leadership at the top of the team, difficult for them to construct a team and then take a coach and say, okay, look what we built. Now take these guys and win. That coach is going to want to say, listen, for me to do this, I'm going to need this guy. I'm going to need this guy. We need to get rid of this guy. And then you bring him in and let him decide on what he's going to do. We don't want a situation where, we coming in here and telling the next guy, hey, I'm going to hire you, but you got restrictions like they hired Joe Dumars with. And she told him, yeah, you can touch, you can do whatever you want, but don't touch the head coach. Well, that's the big part of me getting the team to win. So all that kind of messed us up this year, but I don't think it messes up going into the season. So he got a full season to kind of do an evaluation on what's happening with the Pelicans, whether they get in there, sneak through, and win enough games to get into the plan or not. This team is going to be evaluated. Plus, the positive stuff is the fact that the young rookies work well with the veterans like Trey and we had Sadiq Bey on a really cheap contract, Herb Jones, all these other guys that work well together. So we have assets, some assets outside of the core guys. Then we can construct a team in a proper way. And I don't think you're going to see that until the off season. We see which guy we got. But anyway, let's pivot into this, man. The Pelicans rumors. Shout out to the guys. Shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Y'all do us a service by hitting the like button. Hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on social media. Young Killuminati. Shout out to you, Slim. Big ups to you, Jordan. What's popping, bro? Jay Black. Good to see Jay Black. Tasha. Big ups to Tasha as well. Jay Carv is in the building. Big Sean, shout out to you, bro. Marari 305, appreciate that, my man. Mo, what's up, brother Mo? Yeah, Mo's is in the building. Stephanie, Monopoly Main is in this thing as well. Big ups to all y'all, man. Y'all hit that like button. We appreciate y'all. Brother Wallace, I see you. Kai the Great is in this thing. Jaden, Daniel Berry, Miggy, what's up, fam? Appreciate all y'all, man. Hit that like button and the share button as well. So let me get into this trade situation here to kind of talk about here. This is the rumors, and this article is basically pieced together by Chris Haynes, written by Clutch Points. New Orleans not interested in Zion Williamson to trade Murphy the third trade. The Pelicans are not making Zion, Trey Murphy, Derek Queen, or Jeremiah Fears available at the head of the deadline. Also, they mentioned Herb Jones. I think Herb Jones is throwing that too. The Pelicans have the worst record in the league, and they don't have a first round pick for next season, which is probably the worst shape you can be in as a franchise. At this point, the only way they can make things better is starting to trade some of their players to get assets back in return. With a month left before the trade deadline, teams have been interested in several of the players on the team, but surprisingly, the Pelicans are looking to stand pat. with the core group, according to NBA insider Chris Haynes. New Orleans Pelicans is disappointing the market and informing teams that Zion Williamson, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears will remain with the organization past the February the 5th trade deadline. This is what Chris Haynes wrote on X. Murphy has been one player on the Pelicans that's garnered the most attention ahead of the deadline, and contending teams may like the idea of what he can do for the team. Murphy has been playing well this season, has been averaging around the same amount of points from last season. Now, Williamson would seem to be another player high on the team's radar as well, but the injury history is one thing that could scare some. He's only 70 plus games once in his career, but he's on the floor and he's hard to stop. As Queen and Fears is concerned, there's no way the Pelicans plan on dealing them at the deadline unless a super enticing offer comes their way. Those two were a part of their draft class from the last draft, and they've shown promise this season. As for now, the Pelicans are probably awaiting for the return of DeJounte Murray to see if they can change the trajectory of their season, and they're also dealing with other injuries here and there. So this is sourced from Chris Haynes, who dropped some game about the Pelicans and who they think will be assetted. So you've seen who he added in there. We didn't see Sadiq Bey. We didn't see Yves Misi. We didn't see Jose Alvarado. We didn't see several other players mentioned there. So DC, go ahead and comment on that, bro. What's up, Lonnie?
I thought it was a great article by Chris Haynes. Other than the end, like he kind of lost me with that. The Pelicans are waiting on the return of DeJounte Murray to see if DeJounte Murray might come back 3 weeks before the season over, man. Like, how we gonna put all that pressure on him to do anything? This brother coming back from a torn Achilles. He just got to get out there and just prove he can play again, let alone try to come and be some damn savior for a team.
Maybe coming back so they can trade him, DC. Maybe they coming back so they can trade him.
I believe that, you know. But how you gonna come back to get traded when he passed the trade deadline? So he ain't get traded till the offseason. You know what I'm saying? Sadiq is one that kind of, I want him to be here, but it's like,
yeah, man.
Nobody. But listen, nobody asks this question though, and I probably said it before. Does Sadiq want to be here? We don't even know. I don't want to trade him, but what if Sadiq, he has, visions of being somewhere else? I don't know that. You could definitely see a move be made there, but I think he's a perfect guy for this team and for the brand of basketball we play and to put around, our young guys. I think he's just awesome, man. You can't say enough good things about Sadiq. But how do you move Jordan Poole without looking at a Sadiq and or we're putting up draft picks to move Jordan Poole?
Yeah, we got some assets, man, bro. Listen, man. We got
assets. Do I really want to go down this road again, though, man? It's just one more year. And Jordan may very well be able to turn this game around and give you more than what he's giving you right now. Because I'm not saying you should never move him, but just the version of Jordan Poole we see right now is just, it's even mind-boggling. Just if you're thinking about him as the Washington version that everybody saw him be when he first went to the Warriors. It's just, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he's just that horrible or he's upset with his role and he's kind of just whatever about it. I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, if he is upset about his role and all that, I mean, you got to move him. If he's that horrible, you got to move him. Or is he just going through a horrible stretch in his career for some reason? Who knows? But I'm not trying to attach no pick to move Jordan Poole. But remember we went through this shit with Devontae Graham and we had to give up 5 second-round picks, or was it 4? Big Sean up in here, you should know exactly how many it is. We gave it to the damn Spurs. We ain't got no second-round picks, Q.
I know.
And you gonna turn around and take a first to move Jordan Poole? Nah, man. Unless we could put him in the deal to actually get something substantial back, and you giving up a first that way, and that still would be like a lot. And And I just think the optics of things by them doing the Dairy Queen trade and the Indiana, I don't think the Pelicans are in business to do any more splash trading right now. I don't think so, man. So I could see us acquiring something by maybe Yi Misi is a guy. I think I could see them do something with Jordan Hawkins can be some type of salary. Um, if the market is like what you saw for Trey Young, maybe just us putting together salary is enough, and we do send Jordan Poole to get somebody else because maybe you're getting somebody else that's 20 million or something and they're on a 3-year deal as opposed to next year being there expiring or something. I don't know, man. It is very intriguing though to think about, but we got so many
Yeah,
problems and so
I
many
know
things
they.
we need. Is like, where do they start?
And you know what, bro? The crazy part is too that we've seen these players. I mean, literally ball out. Now, I don't want to be because this thinking has happened to me before, right? Where we'll look at another team and we'll see how those players are balling and playing in that particular team, right? And then when you bring them to your team, they're playing like half of that, or they are representing like less than 60% of that what you've seen for the team that we're at. So sometimes we get caught with the thinking that boy, if we that guy doing that there, if we bring him here, he's going to do that there, and that's not necessarily the case because coaches have visions for players and roles for players, and you sell that player on that role. Now, Jordan Poole making $30 million, a lot of people would consider him anytime you don't have your key defensive stopper in there that he should be in a lineup because not only his obviously he's a good player to command that 30 million, right? With what he did and what he brings. So coming from Golden State, going to Washington, you know, and if the team is losing, like what they're losing, a player, you can lose some of these players. Like you're supposed to lean on some of these guys a little bit more if you have a vision or a role for them. So when I look at what the Pelicans are doing, I'm like, man, damn, we need to figure out a role for some of these players and like in certain aspects of the game when they step forward. There's a reason why they're making this kind of money because they're supposed to be relied upon in the very important moments of the game. And we don't see that sometimes with Borrego. I think Borrego is doesn't quite has he don't obviously he doesn't have a total vision of how he want these guys to play with. And he's more, in line of just trying to find a lineup that he can stick to and then piece people around it. So he keeps cycling guys in and out. So he don't have a full grasp on what these players are or how to use them properly. That's why you see some of these players like get disinterested in playing the game. And it's like, damn, this is crazy, watching this kind of stuff happen. But if you got a real good coach who understands, hey, I got Poole, I got Zion, I got this guy, I got that guy, I can use these guys this way. Not only that, but the coach also tells the player, hey man, you need to work on this, you need to work on that, you need to because it's supposed to have a grand vision on how to use these teams. If he's struggling to figure out what to do with guys and he's putting Bryce McGowan's, who is one of the cheapest players that we have, in the starting lineup and Poole is not there, and he's a $30 million player, man, I would if I was Poole and I'm making $30 million, I got a championship ring and I'm a young player, I would have a problem with that, especially if I'm losing. I don't think I'll have a problem with that if it's working and I'm winning. But if I'm on a 9-game losing streak and I'm a single digit win team on almost 40 something, almost 42 games in a year, I would have a problem with that. So, you seen that he has problems where he showed Willie discuss. I don't know what's going on with Borrego with him, but he's supposed to be a guy a guard whisperer that's supposed to be able to make sense of that. But it's not happening, bro. I mean, it's way too
I
up
think
and
he
down
may be
with Jordan Poole.
more let down or disappointed in Borrego because maybe he has more respect for Borrego. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the way that he's going about the disappointment is different because maybe he's had talks with Borrego and sees him as an intelligent basketball mind, like a lot of people, say about him. But two things can be true. He can see that and still be completely pissed about his role, but he might have respect
AC,
for the man. But I would
AC,
think
you're
the
right.
way
You know, remember what happened with Willie Green when he stared down Willie Green? He was mad about Willie Green taking him out of there. The only reason, and you mentioned, he's like, man, doing the show. Hey, man, Q, you seen that? I said, I seen that, bro. That was, he really didn't like that. But for these guys have an ego. They got a competitive nature. You making that kind of money, that guy shouldn't be coming off the. Okay, one thing, you got Jay Fears there, right? You got Jeremiah Fears there. Okay, they seeing him as the star of the team, but I'm a $30 million player. I'm coming here to have an impact to help winning, right? So whatever you decide to do with Poole, yeah, you have to be consistent in it. Like if Herb and only GC, and let me see if you agree with me on that. If I'm Jordan Poole and I ain't starting, right, the only time he shouldn't start, right, is if Herb is not there. But in my opinion, I don't think a two-way player. No disrespect to Queen, to not Queen, to McGowan's, but he shouldn't be a guy that Borrego leaks to and say, "Hey man, McGowan, such and such." If you got Poole there who can get you 20 points a night when he's locking, DC, he a bucket. But he's in and out and up and down because he don't have a consistent role minute wise
right,
or
and he's
however, and
not
that's
being
Borrego's
featured to
fault.
maximize him. He's not
Right.
featuring him in that way. So I
Now
I,
people
I agree.
clowning them. You don't think a Borrego, not a Borrego, a Draymond Green or a wordy player that like to pick at you. You don't think they're picking at him and saying, "Look at this dude here, this dude going there," and they got a Bryce McGowan starting over you, boy. You played 18 minutes and had 1 point. You
It's
played
it's
15
the
to 19
most
minutes and had 0 points. You
cute.
played 12 minutes and they have no points. Boy, you garbage. They I'm just saying it's a mental aspect right
It's
there.
a huge problem, man, because he's making $30 million, and we know in this league or any professional league, they're gonna lean towards playing the money. So it looks even worse from that aspect too, because you had him on the Wizards, and they did a similar thing with him. Like he wouldn't play. They DMP'd him games and shit. And then you see a man go out another game, hit 30, 40 points. What the fuck is going on, John Poole? What is this? And then he got this situation where you said Bryce McGowan is starting over him, which it's just crazy. But we try to roll with the vision because I think Jordan Poole is a perfect 6-man type guy. But although you've seen those guys in the league, what usually those guys are on teams and they become really good at that? It's when they have a good coach. Look at a guy like Lou Williams, right? I like Lou. I remember seeing his whole career. But what I thought of Lou Williams when the Clippers got hold of him is different from what I thought of Lou Williams when the Sixers and the Lakers had him. I always thought he was good. But when Doc took him and maximized what he does, looks totally different, right? We saw Jamal Crawford
Hmm.
with the Knicks, and we know, man, if you play basketball, you're like, man, this dude can hoop. But when you look at his stats and shit and how it's all working, it just don't go together. It's up and down, it's inconsistent, right? And he went over to that same guy, Doc Rivers, right? And look what that shit turned into. They created a position based off. I mean, the 6-man thing was always a thing, but Jordan Crawford he's the Michael Jordan of 6 men. And you had Lou Williams come right behind him. So obviously, people talk about Doc being the shitty coach, but obviously he know what he's doing as far as that. So and a lot of other teams, around the league have copied that template. You had Jordan Clarkson doing the same thing in Utah. To me, that's what Jordan Poole is. And I'm saying all that to agree with your point, but also you think if everybody was hurt on the Clippers, you know what I'm saying? Lou Williams goes in and he's a starter. They're not going to start Bryce McGowan over Lou Williams because he's
Absolutely not.
quote unquote 6-man. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I definitely think Jordan Poole has a problem with that. I think they've taken a guy who his game to me is heavily relied upon his confidence to be able to take those long ass 3-point shots and all of these fire dribble moves and tough shots. You have to be extremely confident. And then when you take and you start a G League guy over me, what do you think that does for his confidence?
I know, bro. That's a gut
You
punch.
can't make shots. You can't make shots when you ain't got no confidence. And I'm not trying to defend Jordan Poole.
No, not at all. I get it.
He playing like ass right now, but I do understand the type of player he is. He's streaky, and those guys they have to have an ironclad mentality, and it's kind of hard to do when your coach really ain't helping you with that. I think we should have like just segments in the game where you use Jordan Poole like a fucking weapon. Like, look, man, I need you to go out there. I need fucking 12 points from you right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what type of shots you take. Go make it happen. Like, you got to do that with him. And then other times, look, chill right now, play in the flow of the game, da da da. Like, you got to kind of, I think, put him on, put him under control sometimes and then let him be out of control other times. Like you see 6 and Embiid, but I don't know if they doing that with him. I don't see it from the way he plays. So they either not trying to utilize him in that way or his confidence is completely shot. And we can't trade him until we get him playing better. We got about 3 weeks if we do want to trade him. We need to get him on a hot streak.
Yeah, the DeJounte Murray stuff, man. To me,
Come on, my man, young Illuminati X is Jordan Poole a winning player or a guy that was just on a winning team, bro?
I think
Did you not watch the Warriors? They wouldn't have won without him. He's definitely a winning player.
No, he did. If it wasn't for his contribution, man, he actually went in there and made shots to help.
They just know how to use him.
Nah, right. But this is the thing. If I'm DeJounte Murray, the DeJounte Murray thing, DC is this to me. DeJounte Murray's timeline is different. Like they were saying that he was going to be available at the top of the start of 2026. That's not the case. Now the information we getting is that he won't be available until mid-February sometime. Well, that's past the trade deadline. The deadline is February the 5th. They're estimating that from a health standpoint, that he won't be available to him until next month. This is what Borrego said. So the new ETA is saying February the 20th. That's well beyond the trade deadline. So if I don't know if the Pelicans will be active now, based on the report that Chris Haynes said. People that sit outside the four or five players that he named, Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, Jose Alvarado. We've seen the rumors around it. We'll see how it works. And in terms of Jordan Poole, if I'm Jordan Poole, I do not accept the role position that the Pelicans give me unless they make me the sixth man. Because I know if I'm the sixth man, I might not start with the original starters, but I'm playing starter minutes every night. If I'm healthy,
even getting starter minutes.
That's the point, though, DC. That's the point. If I'm a $30 million player, not only that's the proper mentality for a $30 million player to have, but it's also if you're a person that's following the books of the team, that the people that are making $30+ million a season, if they're healthy, should be the key contributors. Like these are the guys that I'm really leaning on, to win games in clutch moments, whether that's Zion, whether that's Trey. They got guys that's making all this money. These are the core guys. The only way I accept a 9 starting role is if I'm a 6 man and I get starter minutes. And that's what usually the 6 man does. He gets the starter minutes, even though he doesn't start with the team. Now, Jordan Poole, you can sell him that, but you have to stay to that. When he's healthy, you have to give him his minutes and allow him to work out whatever he is, because obviously he's a rhythm player and confidence is a part of his game. When he's on, he's a bucket. The guy he get 20 points for you easily. He can shoot the ball really well, so they have to figure that part out of it. So it's like Borrego, he just kind of lost in the sauce. Like I heard Antonio Daniels interview when he was on Pelicans podcast, and I don't usually listen to the Pelicans podcast because it's company stuff. It's like company speak. It's like a bunch of employees, in my opinion, justifying failure of the team. They're not going to give you any searing commentary like we do because they're attached to it. They're getting paid by it, so they're not going to dare smack the hand that's feeding them, right? But the bottom line is this: when he was talking about Borrego and him not having enough practices and all this kind of stuff, I care not about that. No disrespect, but I don't care about that. If you're a professional, you got to get it where you can get it. That's the bottom line. You got to get it where you can get it. Now, we all knew this was coming. You can't sit up here and say, "Oh, they didn't." Borrego. Borrego been here for 3 years. He's been here for 3 years. They've been running a version of his offense. Willie
Right.
Green's been handicapping that.
And
So I mean,
maybe we've been looking at it wrong, man. Thinking Willie Green is the whole problem. He's a big part of the problem, but
he's a major part of it. He ain't all of it.
maybe a lot of these other guys are still problems too.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But that's what I'm saying. The the form is like, okay, we need. You might not be getting the practices like we talked about. When is the next time Pelicans will get the 2 or 3 days off so they can practice? And we talked about that. They had that time prior to the 5-game winning streak. Well, they're not. That don't often happen for the Pelicans. That is the nature of the season. That's the nature of the league. If you don't like it, then don't coach in the league. Go get a job somewhere sweeping floors or selling cars or something. Don't come into the league if you can't deal with the pressures. What I'm saying is there is a familiarity thing. He's familiar with these players. He's been familiar with these players. They were in training camp with these players. Some of these players we had for the last several years that's been on the team. We've been knowing about these players. So he's had a relationship with these guys. He's been seeing them in practice and should have a better idea how to use them in the offense properly. If the defense is not working, you need to make a change there. Like if Jaron Collins is not reaching them with the defense, we need to find somebody else that can do it. That's when you're serious about it. When you start moving guys around and taking jobs from people or demoting and promoting from within to find the proper voice to be able to speak to these people to get them to do what they're supposed to do. Now, tonight we had an inferior opponent, but we're gonna face off against a much tougher foe against the Magic. But what I'm saying is, and everything is just the fact that this whole Jordan Poole situation is a black eye for Borrego because he's supposed to be this guard whisperer. That he's good at talking to guards. He's good at using his guards and getting them in places where they could be successful. Well, Jordan Poole, a big chop of the success the Pelicans could have with Jordan Poole is not being used correctly. Like there were games where he just wasn't locked in. We're like, what's going on with this guy? Is he hurt? No, he's not hurt. But most of the times it's not physical, it's psychological. A lot of these players they play really well when their confidence is high. And Jordan Poole doesn't have a role like he had in Golden State. He was the guy that come off the bench to help out. He had a role when he was in Washington. He was one of the guys that led the team. If you come to the Pelicans, what is Jordan Poole's role with the Pelicans when they started Bryce McGowan's over him? Is he the identified sixth man? You know, is he? In comparison to you see a Jose Alvarado, you can obviously see Borrego favors Jose Alvarado over Jordan Poole. So it's something got to happen here. Something has to happen here where you get your most expensive players because you got to give top value. If you're a general manager or a VP person, you paying this guy this money, you want to know if you're getting a ROI on this player. That's why you paying the money. And that's the crazy thing about the Pelicans. Do they really give a damn about ROI on these players? Are they actually getting anything? Like, for instance, when I think about the game, and I see about Zion, I'm like, man, we might have to get him on the body here because man making $39 million this season. He making more money for the Pelicans than he's ever had. Now listen, he's doing well in the role that you're giving him, but you got a rookie facilitating the offense. In the clutch time moments, they don't go to Zion. Zion's standing on the 3-point line. I'm like, why is Zion standing by the 3-point line? He can't shoot a three. He can't shoot a mid-range shot. Why is he standing over there to create space for somebody else to work? And I'm like, damn, this man.
But that's crazy though, right?
But no, but I'm saying I'm thinking of it like ROI, like return on investment. If he's not the designated closer. He's not. Like there have been games where Zion won't even he'll pass the balls to somebody else. It'll be games where he has an opportunity to dominate, and we haven't seen it. It's far too many games this year when he was healthy, where he was seen as just a fixture, just a prop in the background while other guys were operating and moving. We seeing guys walking up the court, backups shooting threes, and he's commanding the ball in the post for by himself, and they don't pass it to him. So that's on Borrego to check them people. Like you seen him in there, if you've seen him position that way, give him the damn ball. That's a quick conversation, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, damn, it's maddening because the roles, what are the roles of these players? And it has to be set up to a degree on how much you paying them. You're not gonna pay a man $39 million and he can't close for you. He making more money than anybody. So that's my thinking. I'm ROI, the return on investment on these players. That way it tells me who's valuable, who should be getting the money, and who shouldn't. Like you have to evaluate that. That's part of the process. That's why I was like in my head, I love Herb Jones, but I have to look at return on investment. I have to look at availability. I have to look at that over a time frame and decide on whether or not that is something I'm willing to deal with. The fact that his body breaking down? Could I do better by doing, having somebody else here? Could I shift them for resources? This sort of thing. You have to think about that with all of these guys, except for the young people and Trey. Because Trey can work with anybody because of his shooting in this game. But Zion Williamson, to me, would fit much better if we had a role for him. And the fact that his role is disturbed because his availability issues. Another thing is tied to his incomplete game. And like I keep saying over and over again, that people ain't saying, Zion ain't getting hurt at the dinner table. He ain't falling over the bed running from big booty broads on OnlyFans. He getting hurt in the game, going up, getting knocked on his side, on his ass, getting this sort of thing. So I'm like, hey, bro, you know what? Let's prolong your game here by creating. You must, this is not voluntary. This is, this is an involuntary, mandatory thing. You must, and I'm tasking this coach right here to work on you to develop a mid-range shot. I don't know what Jody Meeks is doing. I remember Coach Fred was a guy that everybody knew. Jody Meeks ain't doing shit.
Scratch all that, Q. We got Joe Dumars now, and I thought about the same thing today, right? And I thought about the long list of Detroit Pistons that played under the Joe Dumars regime. And it's almost like a light bulb went off, man. I hope Joe Dumars tries to reach out and get Rasheed Wallace over here on his coaching staff, man. You take Rasheed Wallace and you put him with Zion. If he take heed to what Rasheed to show him, I think you see a totally different player, man. Totally different player. The attitude will change, and I know he can't fully replicate Rasheed's game, but just the philosophy or the thinking, like, man, he took what Derek Coleman was doing and took it to another level for the power forward position, right? Zion don't have to necessarily play the power forward position, but I think that's somebody that could get him to expand his game shooting. Just the mentality of that. And get him to be a lot more aggressive and confident. Because the biggest thing with Zion is you need him to get more shot attempts, right? Because he's highly efficient. And at the same time, like you say, you need to minimize the damage that he takes. One, you can get him to the free throw line. I think he's good enough at that. Two, take shots that are less demanding on your body. He need an 18-footer. He need you don't have to have a fadeaway jumper at the three-point line. You just need a set shot, which he showed examples that he could do that his very first game playing. It's almost the weirdest shit I've ever seen when you really think about it. Because if
remember that man shooting 3-pointers, bro. When
Zion came his first game, he hit 4 3-pointers, and then we got multiple years after that where you probably can add up the 3-pointers that Zion made, and it might only be 4. Insane.
That
How do you
confidence
go
ain't there.
from your rookie year with the game on the line and you're shooting 3-pointers because they're leaving you wide open to not even attempting them? Now I understand when
Yeah.
people play him off, you know he can get up to speed to run and all of that. I hear you, Maul. I am Don Guillory. You know, people saying Zion a problem. Yeah, but still, man, why doesn't Zion ever at least attempt 3-pointers? Like it's like he'll try it every blue moon, and
I
if
can
he
tell you
don't make
that.
it, that's
I can tell
it.
you that, DC. I could tell you that. You don't have the confidence to try them. I mean, he did try, but they don't look good coming. It's a
Well,
confidence thing.
QQ,
You're not
okay,
confident shooting those shots, man.
that's
You can
that's
tell.
true. But why? How can you, as a rookie, when confidence is the hardest thing, your first game in a pressure moment, you make 4, and we're here 5 years after that, and you don't even attempt 1 in any game. We might go 25 games, man, before you see Zion shoot a 3-point attempt. If he shoots a few in sporadic games before that, and he's just gonna stop, man. It might be another 30 games before you even see him attempt 1. And I understand people are like, oh, it's on Zion. To me, I think it's a coaching thing too. Because if I'm the coach,
Yeah.
like, are you not telling him you watch him in practice? You know he can hit corner threes or whatever.
Exactly.
You not telling him to take that shit? I would almost be like mad at you if you don't take it. You don't have to make it. I want you to get comfortable taking it because you have to develop that shot. And if you take it at the right times, it won't be a negative to us. I think Zion is smart enough to know when to take them and when not to take them. I just don't understand why he doesn't ever do it, because him having an 18-footer, a set 3-point shot, and just more of those shots that he's already taken from 8, 10, 12 feet, man, it seriously changes the game, not only for him, but for all of his teammates, whoever he plays for, whether we trade him or not. That's still a thing that's going to have to happen. And I almost guarantee you, if we trade Zion and we send him to the right organization, that's the first thing they're going to get him working on, because Zion is an athletic talent. I don't want to say the other word, especially with all the BBL accusations. But his athleticism will not last forever. We seen it with Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin made the transition. You saw him in the time of making the transition. Man, if Zion want to keep playing, he's going to have to do that. It's not even an option. So I don't understand why it ain't starting now, especially in a year when we 8-31. Like, I should see Zion taking more mid-range 3-point shots than ever right now. Never know, you might make some of them. I hear you. I am Don Guillory. You said that's not his game, but I mean, the brother came in as a rookie, bro, and he took maybe 5 or 6 3-point shots, and he made them. Whether it's his game or not, it needs to be a part of his game. It has to be.
I think that's debatable.
Zion's career is going to be over by year 12.
Yeah.
If he
Yeah.
don't add that at 11, it's over.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. You know, we know that at this point, like the mid-range aspect of his game is non-existent. So, and but it's a brutish mentality. To think that you can dominate is foolish. I mean, because you're a player that's played what 60 games twice since you've been here. You got all kind of ailments that occur, a lot of lower area extremities. So I mean, getting beat up and all this kind of stuff, it extends the life of the player. And I'm not beating up on Zion. I'm just talking real talk. We talking real talk. We know Zion has been looking good playing these games. But when I was bringing up the Zion talk, is to talk about roles and how we can better utilize roles for players. Because Zion is he's obviously the franchise player. I mean, in terms of the money they paying him, ain't nobody making as much money as he is. He making 30, almost $40 million a season. So if you have a guy like that, you want to make sure that you have him around along. And all I'm saying is, and you're right. A lot of that is the coachings to be able to command him to do that. Like that will literally extend his life of playing in the NBA when he's able to develop that area of his game. Then it forces players to come out to him, so he don't have to go up against three players with their arms up around the basket and try to finish over three players and get knocked on the ground, because that's what's going to happen. And and possibly deal with an injury. So it's just somebody that in the last 6 years, however long he's been in the league, we haven't seen that. So the role issue is a problem with the Pelicans, right? And in determining who's who, what role this player has. Is he the leader? If he's on the floor, what's the priority system? And Borrego, we see Borrego he don't operate like that. It's like whatever works at the moment. It's like microwave food. Whatever works at the moment is not nothing traditionally that they're building on that they can use. Like all of the 5 things we've seen them do, or the several things that they did positive in the 5-game winning streak. Where was that stuff during a 9-game losing streak? Where was it? They totally reverted back to basketball, sorry basketball that we seen prior to that. They were all the fundamental stuff we talked about for them to win 5 games straight, which was a feat that we hadn't seen in a while from New Orleans basketball. Where was that during the 9-game losing streak? Where was it? It's like they just forgot it all. And I think that's because a lot of that is on the coach. The coach needs to decide on priority. He needs to decide on roles and keep it there. That's what he needs to do. And we're not seeing that consistently in Pelican basketball, is what I'm saying. And also, it's supposed to not only help the team, but it's supposed to develop the players individually. And they'll be bought into that. You can't have Jordan Poole playing this amount of minutes if he's designated the 6th man. Jose Alvarado can't see more minutes than he does. The only reason he buying into that is because, listen, you're the 6th man. You're not a starter, but you're going to get starter minutes. You're going to finish with the, in the clutch time moments of the game. Okay, cool. That's cool with him. That's cool with the top bean count on the team that's saying we need ROI. We need a better ROI on this player. We don't need to be paying this guy this much money if he's going to do this. And another thing is too, fam, is that, I'm kind of conflicting on trading players right now simply because we have an interim coach who I do not believe, regardless of what happens, unless they win a championship and he gets them to win all the games in a row or some BS like that, which won't happen. But I truly believe that James Borrego is not the coach of the future beyond this season. So it's hard to talk about.
That ain't take long. Q like 20 games. I ain't figured it out. Huh?
I'm just saying, dog. I'm just saying, bro. I would be kind of hesitant on trading too many not core members, but people that are right on outside of the core that help key role people. I'll be hesitant on moving them at the trade deadline, knowing I have an interim coach in place that is not going to be with this team at the end of the year. That I'm going to find somebody else.
And you know what, brother? That is actually intelligent, and that is counterproductive to what the Pels normally do.
So you saying they're not going to do it, or you? What are you saying?
You've heard me come on this show, and I've been saying it since the season started. Any serious piece or heavy hitter, it makes no sense to trade them during the season. It makes absolutely no sense for more than one reason. More than one reason. Number one, trade value, right? Let's say we do want to trade Trey Murphy for whatever retarded ass reason, right? Look what he's doing right now. So you think if Trey has more games like this, that will make his value lower? If Zion finishes the season healthy and they want to trade him, that'll make his value lower. Sadiq Bey continues to play. Like, I don't want to trade any of the guys I named, but I'm just saying, even from the standpoint of wanting to trade them, is stupid. Would you want to trade any of these guys after watching Trae Young go for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. Like the trade market is ass right now. Even if I did want to trade before the deadline, I would not want to be the person to do the next trade right now. After seeing that trade untrade, and then Atlanta was doing that to get draft capital so they could go get AD, and AD fucking hurt now.
Now he hurt. That's right.
I would not. It's just bad optics from an organization. Number two, I already got flack for the trades I pulled off. I almost have to have a perfect trade with the next trade I do, just from the standpoint of how shit look. You want everybody to keep going around talking, oh, we got the worst GM in the league, da 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 da. Whether it's true or not, you don't want that to be the reputation of your team or what's being said about your team. And it's going to be even more heightened if you don't pull off the perfect trade, right? The number three reason is what you just said. You're getting another coach. James Borrego, like, it's beyond, even if you get him in the play-in right now, he's still not going to be the coach. They moving on if they're intelligent. But, we are the Pels because it is a slim chance they could just bring him back. But maybe if they bring him back, that means we about to go through some type of rebuild. Maybe we moving off from everybody. That I think if they're doing that, it would make sense to keep James Borrego. But let's say they're going for their next coach, right? Your next coach should come in and have say-so in what players get traded and what they get back, and that's intelligent, right? And the last reason I would say, every time we look at trade deals, when the best trades happen, bro? The best trades happen in the offseason.
That's right. Yeah, you make a point on that.
And I got one more
I'll be
point.
very reluctant to trade. You're right, bro.
I would trade player during the season. You get a better deal.
You get for Trae Young, bro. That's a long way off from, say, what Orlando did for, to get Bane from Memphis. That's a long way off.
Right.
They gave up. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead to the third point.
Well, I'm on shit. I'm on like that was like 4. I'm about to hit 5, and that's it. My last point is the one I always say. I've heard this one before. But why would the Pelicans be trying to trade anybody right now when they have no incentive to pile up more losses on purpose? They don't need to go to the play-in. They need to do whatever they can to mess the odds up. Atlanta already got the pick. I understand that. But if Atlanta messes around and gets the first, second, or third pick, do you understand how much pressure that puts on Derek Queen? Do you understand how much more pressure that puts on the front office? Everything is even more under a microscope, and you have more negative publicity and expectations on you. And it just doesn't make sense to intentionally do that. If anything, you try to do what you can do without swinging for the fences. Maybe they add a little small piece here or there to try to improve the team, to actually get some more wins. Try to see if you could get them maybe to 30 wins or something. Just to move up that little ladder and get as high as you can for your odds to be so crazy. Because whether they make it in the West or not, you still got all the other teams in the East. So I could be the highest team out of all the teams that didn't make it without doing anything crazy to do that. That would be intelligent. If Atlanta, let's say the pick we gave them, they get the 8th pick or something. They get the 7th pick. 6th pick. It's a lot easier to stomach than them getting 1, 2, or 3. And oh my God, don't let them pick a dude that's actually really good. Now, Derek Queen got to be matched up with that his whole career. And your front office has to deal with those optics in the offseason. And when those type of things happen, you get the David Griffin effect, right? When you go to make trades, everybody look at you as foolish and stupid. So they're going to come to you with the dumbest proposals for trades. Because they think you're an idiot. So, you got all of these reasons to me to not trade anything valuable or give up lesser value because we're trying to get cap space. And I don't understand these people who are talking about trying to get cap space when you're like a team like us. You need the salaries to be able to get other talent because you're not going to get them in fucking free agency. So what is the cap space for what? When you going to need players with certain cap numbers to be able to actually get the players you want anyway. So we're gonna trade people to save in the cap and put more money in Miss Benson pocket for what? You're still gonna fucking lose and you're gonna have less talent and you're not gonna be able to replace it. I understand tearing it down, starting over, getting your draft picks and all of that, and that philosophy, but it makes no goddamn sense to do it in the middle of the season and especially right now with the trade market. Matter of fact, if the Pelicans did what everybody's saying they should do right now, they would be the dumbest franchise in the NBA. You got it, Big Q. Well, I guess he must have ran off or something. But anyway, man, so that's my 5 points on that. And I think all the trade stuff, we need to just stop as far as trying to get them to trade during the season, which I don't think anybody here in our chat who watches this show has those sentiments of them trading everybody. Because even if you want to blow it all up, it's still an intelligent way to go about that.
DC, I don't. Those good points. I don't see them blowing it up because the future's here. I mean, they brought in Jeremiah Fears. They brought in Queen. They brought in Peavy. They added.
What if they want to give them the ability to take over everything, Q? Maybe they see these guys as having a way bigger role than we're thinking, and maybe they haven't, envisioned them having that early.
No, I just don't see. I see what Joe Dumars is doing. He's giving them the resources, like he has these two young players as the future. Like right now, Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears are actual contributors. They're starters. They're full time starters. They're not going back to a bench role, So, and then they have they're underpinned by veterans that's making, double or triple what they're making. I mean, you got guys that Derek Queen had a triple double tonight. He was throwing Trey Murphy lobs. Trey's making, a lot of money. Zion's making a lot of money. But you see in these games, these rookies are having a real impact on the game. So yeah, I think Trey Murphy works well with the younger guys. And I think this is a gift. Like it's a very talented team. We just don't have the leadership. We don't have the discipline. We don't have the overall and true complete basketball IQ we need to function with. We simply don't have, the pedigree. We don't have the culture that we need. That a person, a coach who is a culture builder, a person that is stern, that has unwavering and unshakable traditional values to come into here and has a way to speak to the players. He's very clear in defining of the roles and the vision that he has for his team. And if the team is weak and wavering, it's because of the head coach. The head coach is not clear in his roles, not like Borrego. Borrego coached before. He's coaching now, but he is an intelligent man. But I would have to say Borrego is he's better as an assistant coach than he is as a head coach because, like I said, man, he's seen these players before. He's been dealing with most of these players since he's been here. His problem, in my estimation, is the roles are not defined. I mean, what he's doing, these lineups at times don't work. He's still searching for lineups, and I'm like, damn, this guy's still searching for lineups. He's been coaching the team. What now? How many 20 plus games?
3 years. Q, he was the offensive coordinator. So
yeah, right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You should know what a lot of these guys are capable of and how you want to utilize them at this point.
But that's the point. The point of the matter is they're not coming out of the lineup, family. And I want y'all to understand that. The rookies are not, once those rookies made it into the lineup, they're not coming out of the lineup. So everything that you have to build it around them. That's Joe Dumas's his gift to the team is he gave these fantastic rookies that are actually contributors. They have rookie struggles from night to night, learning the game, but he added veterans that's supposed to help with that maturation process. He traded to get Poole and Sadiq Bey. Sadiq Bey averaging 14 points a game. Poole was averaging almost 20 points a game. So you bring these guys in along with Trey and Zion and Herb and Jose and then Joe found McGowan's and Trey Alexander. Carlo Mekovic is getting time. So like I said, they have enough to supposed to be able to compete to beat teams from night to night. And the problem is, like you see it, the roles are not totally clear. Guys are not fully buying in. He's not totally utilizing his expensive players like he's supposed to, and he have access to a lot of these guys. So, like I said, man, um, it's a unique situation, but it's a gift to a coach that have vision, that have the vision, and know I know how to use that player. I know how to do it. I can do this. I have the temperament to be able to be a asshole if I need to get my way. You see what I'm saying? All this nice stuff is too weak. You got to have a coach that at times you want to be mad at, and because he challenging you. He challenging you to be better. He challenged you to develop a mid-range shot. He challenged you to play defense. He challenged you to stop making stupid switches. He challenged you to run up the court as opposed to backpedal. He challenged you to hit a higher clip on your free throws. He's challenging you to swing the ball and assist more. He challenged you to get to practice early and leave late. He's challenging you to be a better player individually, to hit the weight room, to develop your game, whatever the case may be. He challenged you to study the scouting reports so you know how to beat your adversary. He challenged you every way, and that's what we need. We need somebody that's going to challenge these players on a level that they're not being challenged, not somebody that's a part of the previous regime that's still using a lot of the talking points and still congratulating players when they get beat by 25 and 30 points. We don't need that kind of stuff. We need somebody that's pissed off, that makes them pissed off, and that's when you start developing that kind of moxie. They're just too nice a lot of times, man. Get their head beaten by 30 points, and then they slapping hands and smiling and congratulating the other team. Again, no, we need a little bit more nastiness, a lot more nastiness. If you want to get to become a gritty team and mirror the mindset of the city of New Orleans and the region, that we the blue collar nature, that ain't gonna get you there being a happy loser. That's not gonna cut it. You're gonna have to develop a lot more thicker skin than that by doing that, and that's the point. That's what I'm saying. So, and I get what you're saying, DC, about not feeling that you don't think that there will be making those steps. But like a lot of people felt that way about before Joe Dumars arrived. Like I said, I'm gonna say this again because it's a small percentage chance that they hired Joe Dumars. They originally wanted to hire him before, but they didn't want to pay his price. Well, what happened was the price they didn't want to pay him originally when they created that VP position, they just turned around and gave it back to Dale Demps, and went about destroying the team. Then they hired Griffin. He continued to destroy. So whatever they didn't want to pay him, they paid in time and humiliation. Now they went back to the point where you have a Joe Dumars here, and Joe Dumars will be tasked with finding a head coach. And if they want a credible one, you want to get one that mirrors your philosophy. That's a guy that has a ring because you, as the VP, this guy remember who he is. He's a top 50 player, greatest top 50, named top 50 greatest in NBA history, multiple All Star, won that a couple of titles as a starting guard with the Pistons, the most respected player that Michael Jordan ever played against, according to MJ. And this is the guy that understands bringing that type of bad boy mentality, that temperament to the team. He has to find a head coach that matches that also has a championship resume, that understands what it takes to take a team to the promised land. That's what it comes down to. Now, we've never had that kind of coach, but then again, we never had this type of VP either. So if you have one, you eventually will get the other. And I'm telling you, it's a good percentage of the chance that they're going to hire a coach with championship experience. Now, We did hear about the reports about them asking about certain coaches and all this kind of stuff, but they're gonna interview a wide group of people. But ultimately, when you're Joe Dumars, he gonna hire a coach that mirror his philosophy. He can't go down there and coach the team. Even though he can make recommendations, he can't coach the team. You got to find his representative of what he believes in the head coaching the hiring cycle, which I think he will. So that's my talk on it. But I'm gonna give you the last word before we leave.
Yeah, Q. Excellent points. I think we both had good assessments of it, but that's what you're supposed to do in all facets of everything we were saying. But are these the moves that Joe Dumars will be allowed? Or I will do because Troy Weaver and Joe Dumars, they've made some questionable decisions over their 10 years, but all in all, I don't think they're as bad as everybody says they are. And having championship experience as Joe Dumars means a lot. And I definitely think if it was fully up to him, the only smart thing to do is get a coach with championship experience. If not championship experience, at least a perennial Eastern or Western Conference type coach that's been there. And you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you building up to? How are you going to build a winning organization with a retread? To me, starting over, I don't know. I mean, you got some guys that come in young and they start things and get it going, but they don't ever really win nothing in the grand scheme of things. And a lot of times it doesn't pan out unless they already had like your superstars in house or some type of foundation already ready for them to kind of come and take it to the next level, like you saw with Steve Kerr. But or to me, the best coach in the league in Spoelstra. Even looking at his situation, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of things kind of fell into place there and was already prepared before he actually even already took over. So I think the only way to go is to get a coach that's familiar with what it takes to win. Obviously has championship experience. And the other thing is, will Miss Benson want to spend that type of money? Because, those type of coaches don't come cheap. They don't come cheap. You talking $10, $15 million a year type guys. And then on the flip side, do they look at the Pelicans as an organization that they want to go to? Those type guys. So if they normally are 10 mil a year, 12, 15 mil, what's the Pelicans price? Is that like a 20 mil a year bump? You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to the Pelicans. So the question would be, would Miss Benson be willing to spend that money? And those guys, would they want to come here for whatever money that she's willing to spend? Because nobody ever has come to us ever and taken a discount that's worth coming here. Or that we think is worth coming here. Because some people we pay and that shit was like Solomon Hill, the dude you shitted on forever when we first started podcasting, right? You had a song for that boy and everything. At the time, his contract was ridiculous, and he actually didn't even get close to almost living up to it or nothing. Like, it wasn't even in the same stratosphere. We had to overpay like hell to get Solomon Hill and Omer Ashik. And have we ever paid a coach over $5 million?
No, you never did. But
I want what that can happen, Q, but it's like it's kind of hard for me to believe that that'll happen because I've never seen anything close.
Well, let me ask you this: how much you think Joe Dumars is making?
Let's
you think they're paying Joe
Scott? What is that?
You think they're paying Joe Dumars cheap money? Joe Dumars is making a lot of money to be here, man. I'm telling you.
And that's the point. I'm paying you a lot of money to be here. Make it happen with this fucking budget.
No, it ain't gonna be. It's not gonna be like
I'm
that.
paying you. I'm not paying everybody else. I'm paying you, so I don't have to pay everybody.
I'm a person that's really good at paying attention to behavior patterns, like we often talk about with history. We talk about history.
I mean, true. I'm not saying that this is me. This is me being debatatory, dog. Like I'm not saying this It's that's how they gonna go. It's hard for me to see it though, because how they always operated.
From a history standpoint, you're right. That's the old way the Pelicans have operated from. But you can see that they broke from somewhat of their old pattern by hiring an expensive VP and Joe Dumars. Joe Dumars didn't come to the Pelicans cheap. He didn't give him a discount. They didn't release his contract.
Do we know that though? Like we don't even know he get paid.
No, what I'm saying is at some point this is where the Pelicans are. If they want to be able to bank out, she wants a brand new arena. She's not going to get that unless you get respectability. Joe Dumars coming to the Pelicans does lend a lot of respectability to the Pelicans. It gives them a guy that's respected, a guy that won as an administrator, plus it's his Hall of Fame background. So he gives the Pelicans a lot of respect on high that they never had before. David Griffin was a laughable character. All these other clowns were laughable characters as well. So when we talk about what we got going on with these people, the reality at the end of the day is simple. I do think that they broke character with hiring Joe Dumars, and I do think that ultimately Joe Dumars will hire the proper coach that will lead this team. I really do think that. I think that's going to happen. Now, you're right. They never had an administrator like Joe Dumars, and they're going to hire a coach that matches his philosophy. That's a guy that knows how to take a team to the promised land. He's going to hire. We done had all these old coaches that, can talk this way, or half-ass coaches that could talk offense. Like we talked about Gentry. How Gentry can run up the score on you. Yeah, he could. He just couldn't teach defense. Same thing Borrego does. He can teach offense. You can score a bunch of points. You can't stop nobody. It's the same thing. So at the end of the day, I think we done had history repeating itself to a point where you had enough people engaged and dialed into the Pelicans where she is getting roasted. She didn't have this type of roastment back in the day where they was on her like this. They're on. The Pelicans have been here for a while now. Basketball's been in the city for a while now. So people get on her like they get on her about the Saints. And I'm telling you, she wants a new arena. She understands the stakes they playing, and I'm telling you, Joe Dumars will be allowed to hire the coach that he wants. Now we know Malone and all these guys, they make $10 million a year. I'm estimating maybe between $10 to $15 million a year. They'll have to end up paying for a coach. But the bottom line is you're going to need that if you want to get that arena and be competitive. And I don't think she stops Joe Dumars from doing that. I think that ultimately she will allow him to make the moves that he needs to make this team competitive. That's just my opinion. So that's all I got. Anyway, with that being said, fam, I'm going to get ready to get out on that. I appreciate all of y'all from reaching out to us and listening to us on the show. The Pelicans did handle business tonight and blast the Wizards 128-107. They stopped a 9-game winning streak. The next matchup is coming up on Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Time, I want to say. They take on the Orlando Magic. This is a team that has beaten the Pelicans 7 straight times. We're going out to Orlando to see if we can break that slide. Now, we're supposed to have most of the guys back. We'll see how it looks. But at the end of the day, man, we got some stuff to fix, a lot of stuff to fix. We trade deadline coming up February the 5th. So it's going to be a busy time for the Pelicans. And it's just simply is what it is. So anyway, y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and feel free to share the show on the social media feed. We'll holler at you on our Sunday afternoon stream. Much love, peace, and go for it.
You're listening to the Pelicans Post Game Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Perfect. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell him that. Fly down, I'm a Pelican forever. Pelican, ain't gon' lie, I feel flyer than I ever been. We stay ballin', this New Orleans, I'm a Pelican. It's going down in the nest, wild, wild west. Come in town and you best show us some respect. 3-point threat, I better make it rain. If it's something, don't jump stupid like your ankle sprain. Always said, never hate the player, hate the game. Jumping where the dame late, punch a train. Post game, Big Q, talking about business. Bird gang, YouTube, they ain't flocking with us. Lock up the division mission, get into the finals. Finish competition, then it's going win the title. I know this flyer than you can get. Such a threat that the refs just might call a tag. You could double, you could press, but you can't check. right, left, slide by you like a Eurostep. Fly Pelican, fly Pelican, fly Pelican. And I tell them that birds of a feather flock together. Fly down, I'm a pelican forever, pelican forever. And never, and never, and never, and never, and never, and never say birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, fly down, I'm a pelican forever, pelican forever.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with the whodatdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit the WhoDatDaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.